Hi there. Today I'm going to show you some of the new functionality where it lives in the geometry sticky of Classpad.net. I'm not going to go into detail in any of it because I'm going to create videos later specifically for each new feature and how to use it. So right now I'm just showing you where they are. If you want to start exploring, that's fantastic. So let's get a geometry sticky out. So click on anywhere, open my screen. First thing I want to point out is that we have some grid options, which were not there before. So if you go up here, this controls the screen, the sticky, the three dots. You'll notice we always had the square grid, but now you have a dot grid and an isometric grid, which is fantastic for 3D. You can turn on a minor grid, which is basically the squares with smaller squares inside. So that's really nice when you're working with numbers. You could always turn axes and labels on. So the grids are new, so that's a really fantastic feature. Now if we go down here to the bottom, all of these are basically the same with a few additions. So here's your basic tools, straight edge, drawing, etc. But if we go to the Polygon tool, we do have an added Polygon tool, and this is a rigid polygon, which means once you construct it, it can't be changed. So let's just do a real quick example so you see what I'm talking about. This is now a rigid polygon. Oops, I didn't do a rigid polygon. Let's do a rigid polygon. And so you see the difference. So see the difference here. This is not rigid, meaning I can change it to be any triangle in this particular case, right? But the rigid one, I can only translate it or turn it, rotate it. So it will always maintain its side. Really nice for congruency and things that you want to always maintain what their their constructs are. All right, so that's new there. We have a couple other new things. So we've always had the ability to do text, so you can write a text box up here. But now you can actually add an image into the geometry sticky, which is wonderful because then you can do geometric constructs on top of it. So you could put in an image of a building and find all the polygon shapes within it, you know, rectangles, triangles, those types of things. So really nice feature there. And then we also have a protractor tool, and this is wonderful for actually teaching students how to use a protractor, but just also if you're working with, say, younger grades and you don't necessarily want the tool itself to do the measurement, you want the students to be finding measurements, you could use the protractor. So that's a really nice tool. Now let's go up here to the side. You'll see there's this little arrow off to the side, and depending where your geometry sticky is, that arrow kind of moves either left or right, which is nice. And it has all the things you're going to do to the stuff on your screen, right? So you've put something on your screen, now you want to do things to it. So I'm going to just go through some of the features that are here. Adjustment, we haven't changed anything in there. You can still select something and change it. So change the length, parallel very quickly at an adjustment. Measurement, we've added a couple new things. So now you can measure angles from 0 to 360. So if you measure an angle and then you change it, it can go all the way to 360. So that's a nice feature. We've added this exterior angle measure capability. So you could always measure interior angles, but now we're working with exterior angles as well. Wonderful for that discovery. And everything else was already there. So those are the two features within measurement that are new. Under construction, we also have some new things. Some you can see, some I'm just going to talk about, and then I will be showing you in later videos how to use those. But one of the things you can see that's new is this regular polygon construct. And this is really nice if you want a very specific regular polygon, say a hexagon. You simply start your initial side, however long you want it to be. Remember, you can always go back and change. And then it asks you how many sides you want, so you'd put in 6 for a hexagon, right? So then it automatically creates a 6-sided hexagon that you can then manipulate. So that's a wonderful tool. These are transformations, right? So those haven't changed. We have added an option for translation. So now you can do coordinates, so rules, or you can do vectors. So either one, really nice. We have, and it's hard to see this, and again, I'll be showing a video of this in the future, but transformations can be done now with sliders as well. So that means you can create a shape or a construct and transform it somehow using a slider instead of an exact value, and then that slider lets you see all the different iterations of that transformation. So that's an amazing tool. And finally, we have a compass tool. So a compass tool looks very much like the circle tool, except it maintains its size automatically because it's a compass tool. So for example, if we're doing constructions where we need our compass open to a very specific measurement, the distance between the two sides of an angle, for example, you can do that here with the compass tool. So if I just clicked it, for example, and I want my compass to always be open to this measurement here, there we go. And there's my compass tool. That's a little better. So now you'll notice that this is basically the radius of this is the distance that I chose, and it'll stay that same. I can't change that. So that's a really nice feature. So it looks like a circle, but it is a circle, but it's with a controlled radius that you have decided on. So that's a really nice feature. And finally, under construct, we're done with construct. So let me click the arrow here and let's go to properties. Properties are just what things look like, decoratively, I guess. So we've added these things down here. You can now change what the points look like, and you can add tick marks, parallel marks to the lines, and then you can also add tick marks to the angle and directed angle marks as well. So that's a wonderful feature if you're trying to show students things that are connected, congruent, blah, blah, blah. Finally, we have to select something in order for the others to come up. So here's the other options that come up based on what you've selected. This is kind of new, what's visible. So based on what I've selected, I have some options here. So I can hide the label, unhide the label, hide the object itself, unhide the object itself. If I measured something, I can hide the sticky that comes off to the side, like here in the protractor, if I don't want to see that, if I only want to see the measurement within the geometry construct itself. So lots of options with hiding. You can also select things and lock them. That means that they cannot be changed. So that's nice if you've created something you don't want students to accidentally change. And then there's the trace feature. So whatever you selected, and again, you can select anything, as you move it, there's going to be a trace of it as it moves, right? So that's another feature. So let's go back here. And the last new feature is this duplicate, and that's going to be really handy because let's say you construct something and you want to use it again, but you don't want to have to construct it again. You can simply select it and duplicate it, and now you have a copy. So this is fantastic for congruency and just, in your own constructions of activities. So here's just a brief, the new stuff that's there. I am going to create videos that are going to show more detail. Get on, explore. It's all free. Have fun, and I will see you next time.